This is NTV.
This is kind of a crazy case. I don't know if there's a video.
It is.
But it's a tweet, and a 39-year-old British man convicted of prior sexual offences and known to be on the UK's sex offender register was arrested in France after staging a shocking mock wedding at Disneyland Paris on June the 21st. That was just like a couple of days ago. Posing as the groom and using a false Latvian identity, he paid over 130,000 euros to rent park space outside opening hours and hired around 100 extras for the ceremony, only for the staff to spot a 9-year-old Ukrainian girl dressed as the bride and flagged the event. So French prosecutors have charged him with fraud, identity theft, money laundering, and face a preliminary investigation into corruption of a minor. His alleged accomplices, including the child's mother, good Lord, were also detained. Authorities confirmed the child was unharmed, but the man remains in custody as evidence continues to emerge. So this is crazy. The fact that this even was allowed to happen.
Can I just pause you for a second? I just want to
yeah.
say this is completely fucked up. Okay, there. I said it.
Yeah.
So
no, but this is
not
wild.
Want to swear, but like this is.
Oh no, we can swear.
Up.
It's fine. We don't have advertisers.
This is like a messed up story. Like we talk about war and stuff, but you get this psycho like situation, like wanting to marry this 9-year-old at Disneyland, and not only that, they have he pays off like 100 people as guests, and the mother was there.
That's my curiosity here.
Insane.
My curiosity on this, what I find fascinating, is how this was even allowed to begin with.
In Disneyland.
Right. I mean, that doesn't look too good on Disney right now. They're letting you know, because they've been targeted already. They've had scandals mind you. I think it was a previous producer or something.
Goodness.
It was a massive scandal. Like, this is wild. And what's more interesting is that the girl was from Ukraine. And it's interesting because previously we were going to wait because we wanted to actually expand on this topic a bit further. It's required a bit more research that we have to do. This is a very tricky topic. But what was interesting is that BBC. Oh, here's the video. Look at this. This is crazy. It's
100 guests for an alleged pretend wedding ceremony. Employees didn't know in advance that the bride was a 9-year-old girl.
Okay, those were the extras.
Shut it down.
Okay.
What do you mean?
So the extras, they didn't know. They didn't know.
Like, even if you get married, like in Vegas, it's real, right? Or was this like
because
it wasn't for film.
No, but the actors are like the extras. They were paid.
He's known as a PDF file.
Yeah. I mean, This is just wild how not enough is. But what's interesting is that we have this BBC article, it's a bit old, right? But it's in relation to how a lot of Ukrainian children have actually gone missing. And it's believed that they have been, funneled into child trafficking within Europe and such. And what's even more shocking, and this is what we were going to explore more, but I will just highlight it a little, is that in many cases, what most people don't recognize, in many cases, especially in places that have a very strong element of this occurring, continuously, like child trafficking, sex trafficking, etc., like countries like Ukraine. Okay. In many cases, the parent or the guardian is intrinsically connected to this, okay, in these networks, in this whole process. So it's not surprising. And there's actually, we're not going to link it or refer to it right now, because hopefully we can refer to it later. But there has actually been a kind of documented video about this from I believe it was a Polish director, who's literally charting the process of how some mothers are even selling their unborn babies into this thing. It's, as people don't want to believe it, it's crazy, but it happens because
it is horrible.
Life is cheap. Life is cheap, especially in places when you're impoverished or in areas where you're not, especially from a lot of these Eastern Bloc countries. Yeah. And they don't care. They don't care. They just want to get rid of it and make money. You're right.
In the previous example, okay, we had a guy who wanted to marry this 9-year-old in Disneyland or something. But like in the rest of the world, like okay, human trafficking is outright bad. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, it's the worst.
But like also, what is concerning are like kids like put up for adoption and things. And in a lot of countries, there are waiting lists and procedures and everything like that. But I think they're like, I think the demand exceeds the supply of people. I hate to put it in those terms because we're talking about human beings, but it's a very like concerning issue.
There is unfortunately a historical case to be made against a lot of social services when it comes to like child protection, because they tend, in not all, but in many cases, like you just brought up, when it comes to particularly, I think it's not necessarily adoption, it's but the foster process, fostering children with social services. And there have been so many cases of like, the child was handed over to a family that was abusive, and this whole thing, and it's just horrific. Anyway, moving on to something a bit different.
I just want to like highlight in this article, I know it's from like 2022, March, but still, like the amount of numbers of kids that they're talking about, like hang on, I just highlighted it. It said something like US military veterans were helping to organize safe passage for the estimated 200,000 children in Ukraine's orphanages and foster homes.
Foster homes, there you go. That's the key word.
200,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot of kids. It's not just one or two.
And this isn't even unpacking the harsh reality of in Europe itself, like how many over continental Europe of children go missing or are involved in this, unfortunately.